The Real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
From the Atlantic across the savannah to the Sahara, we rise, a land of the free, we know they tire.
Adopted by over 650 sporting organizations around the world. The World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA, has been scheduled with the responsibility to punish doping offenders. Despite this huge punishment imposed on doping offenders, some athletes still find themselves, committing these blunders or getting themselves involved in this prohibited act, either knowingly or unknowingly. Wherever you're watching, I'm utmost delightful to welcome you to yet another brand new episode of your most educative sports program on television, Sports Health and Wellness. Of course, it's reaching you from NTA Sports 24 right here at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja. On today's episode, we'll be featuring a very interesting topic. We're talking about anti-doping awareness. And I have in the studio with me a renowned physician, a sports doctor, that I won't be introducing him immediately. You have to stay tuned after this background report from our correspondent, Francisca Bile. Don't go away.
Become a key and complex issue in the world of sports, which deserves serious consideration. Some athletes feel a strong drive to win, some just want to play for professional sports teams, while others want to win medals for their countries. The pressure to win at all costs leads some athletes to use drugs that might give them an edge. These are called performance enhancing drugs. Narcotics and analgesics, anabolic steroids, hormones, and selective androgen receptor modulators are among the most frequently utilized substances. Although anti-doping controls are becoming more rigorous, doping and, very importantly, masking doping methods are also advancing, and these are usually one step ahead of doping detection techniques. Sporting authorities have banned many drugs because they may give an athlete an unfair advantage. They might also cause health issues. Using drugs in sports undermines values like fair play and teamwork. When sports people use drugs, they give sports a bad reputation. They set a poor example to others and they risk their reputation and career. Using drugs to improve performance in sports may lead to an athlete being banned and may also harm their health. Well, on sport health and wellness, we have an expert in the studio to shed more light on anti-doping, its health risks and regulations.
Thank you very much, Francisca, for that comprehensive background report on anti-doping. Now, we have in the studio a guest who is a sports doctor and with renowned experience in it is a sports physician with over 20 years of experience. He's the director of Medical Services, National Institute of Sports. He was the head of medical and anti-doping at the 13th Africa Games, Accra, Ghana in 2023, among several other responsibilities he been saddled with. It's no other person but Dr. Samuel Ogbemu. If I can get the name correct, Ogbodemino. Is that right?
Ogbodemino, you tried.
All right, thank you very much, Doctor, for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, today's episode we are taking a look at understanding anti-doping, awareness about doping, its health risk, and compliance with anti-doping regulations in sports. Now, I would want to start by asking you, what is doping and why is it prohibited in sports?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Moderator, and thank you for having me. But just to start, the background introduction talk about an expert. But I'll tell you that in this field, we don't have an expert. We're all learning. Yeah, it's evolving. There's no expert. So I'm also in the school of learning, despite that over 20 years. But of course, I'm sure we'll be able to do justice to the topic. Yeah, to go to the question you asked for, what is doping? Doping simply refers to the use of prohibited substances and methods in sport.
All right, so why is it prohibited in sports?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, the prohibited substances or method normally confer undue athletic advantage, and this only happen usually in competitive sports. Yeah, because we are going to a field of play and someone has unnecessary advantage over the others. So you find out that this is highly unethical. It undermines the spirit of going for competition. It undermines the integrity of the competition you are going for, and above all, these substances or method constitute significant health risk to the athletes.
All right, I want to ask again, still on this first question, why do you think some athletes, choose to go against the anti-doping rules despite the huge, penalties associated with anti-doping rules? Some athletes still find themselves, taking these performance enhancement drugs. Why is it so?
Yeah, just like you are wondering, I'm also wondering. Everyone is wondering, because the kind of noise, the education that go into, telling you about this risk, why you should not cheat, that it's unethical. You expect that athletes will do away without,
abide
all those things, abide by the rules. But you find out that, well, the way we are made of, and that's part of, you find out that from grassroots, from home as early school, people, there is a kind of a way to put education program, because the constituent who will cheat no matter what you do. I don't know whether you understand. And the pressure on people to succeed at all costs, the winning at all costs syndrome. You find out that there are competitions, there are some big money. Of course, we all know that sport is a big industry, a whole lot of financial incentive that so some athletes, because of the financial implication to a competition, they want to win at all costs. So they will do anything, whatever it takes to win. So no matter what risk is seen to them, no matter how it is unfair to the other athlete, no matter what consequences it will be to their health, some athletes will cheat, no matter. And the society, the name of Nigeria, maybe somebody, you go for a competition and you win. You are rewarded, national awards, some people have houses, vehicles are given. So some people, with whatever it takes, some want to get to do it and win. So I think it's the win at all costs that is the basic thing. So, and it starts from home. Of course, no matter how you tell some people, I'm robber, no matter how the police or the military or whoever is in, somebody who will rob or steal will still steal. I think that's the explanation to that.
All right. Talking about the repercussions, the health risk associated with doping, what are some common health risks associated with doping?
Yeah, we've been talking about the health risk, apart from the other things, and you find out that depending on the substance in which an athlete engage in doping, consume, that lead to the kind of health risk that is usually associated, known health risk associated with it. And some are mild, some are very serious, and it ranges from, of course, some use injectables. So sharing of syringes and other things can predispose to infection. And you find out that on the musculoskeletal system as well, of course, I'll try not to. You find out that people who engage in using some steroid, they are bound to have some funny, serious acne. In local time, we call it pimple. And their immune system are decreased and they are susceptible to a whole lot of infection. You find that people on anabolic will go onto the cardiovascular system, people that engage in stimulants and steroid. You find that some of them tend to have hypertension, some other heart diseases that can
cardiovascular
predispose them even into what you call it, heart attack. And of course, from heart attack, some of them can die. There are some steroids, especially the oral anabolic steroid, that are toxic to the liver, hepatotoxic to the liver, and you find that it can cause significant damage to the liver, and liver can fail from there. It can predispose even liver to the individual developing cancer. In later in life, you find that some of people that engage in some of these psychologically, you find that some of them have some mood swing, anxiety disorder, and others. So, you find that some
numerous uncountable,
some of them
health risk associated.
A whole lot of the kidney can fail. Even people that take diuretics, you find that some electrolyte derangement can occur, and some of them the kidney can pass on. There is a whole lot of things that can happen. And of course, just to mention, hormonal is a major one that we should not leave. You find that some of them, through the hormonal changes that can occur, infertility can result. You find out that a man is not able to produce.
Thank you very much, Doctor. We'll be coming back to this maybe as time permits. But right now, we have to go to the street and take some, sampled opinions from people on the street who spoke about the topic of discussion. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Anything that enhances your performance unnaturally, then you refer to it as doping. So it could be something you take, or bloodletting. There are a lot of different forms of doping, but just train hard and do your best. So a bronze won fairly is of more value than a gold obtained through doping. So just do your best. But I understand the urge to win, And I just suggest that if you want to win, then just put in extra effort and say, how can I get the advantage that will get me over the finish line.
For some people that feel like their natural energy is not enough, they may probably want to take enhancer, something that will enhance their performance. So that's why some may go into it. Why some, they will probably see their opponent as a threat, like this person is stronger than me, has more energy. So if I go into this, I think I'll be able to counterbalance and then take advantage. So I think that's for some people, that's the reason why they indulge in doping.
Doping is not good for any athletes in the whole world. It's not only Nigeria. Even if you have a coach, he's trying to encourage you to be giving you something to use, drugs. No, tell your coach that say you don't need a coach. I want to train with my normal strength so that I can achieve my dream. Because if you don't train with your normal strength, maybe your coach is encouraging you to give you drugs to use. At the end of the day, you are the one who face it. Because your coach won't face it. It will spoil your career. So my advice to any Nigerian athlete, train with your strength, don't use any drugs. You will achieve what you are going to achieve.
It's getting more interesting here in the studio. We've got some opinions from the street and very, very relevant. And Doctor, we've got to continue with this and wrap up this segment.
Yeah.
One more question for you before you go. How do anti-doping agencies let me take the question again. How do anti-doping agencies detect and prevent doping in sports?
Well, thank you. Simple. One of the things is it's usually an intelligence-based way. There are standard way for investigation and testing in sport. And one thing that we need to understand is that you and me, everybody has a part to play in it, because there are ways that athletes are being tested both in and out of competition, but they also rely on law enforcement, everybody. You find that the WADA itself has a kind of a speak out program by which you can report suspected doping behavior, and that should be enough to. So through the testing, if you are found culpable or you are found wanting to have committed any of the anti-doping rule violations, there are consequences to whatever an athlete does.
Thank you very much, Dr. Samuel Ogbondemino, for finding time to be with us on the show today. Thanks for bringing your way of experience.
I really enjoyed my stay here. Thank you.
Much. The program continues in just a moment. We'll be right back. Don't go away. You're welcome back. Now joining us in the studio to wrap up the show is the president, NASMED, Nigeria Association of Sports Medicine, Dr. Olajide. You're welcome on the show, sir.
Thank you, Tewashe, for having me here.
All right, we've got a lot of people, viewers, showing concern, reaching to us with vital questions that needs to be answered. And we got a couple of questions here. First of all, Mr. Bulus from Otupo, he said, I want to thank you guys for your informative and educative program. Please, I want to ask, at what point will an athlete consider retiring as a result of injury?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Bulus, for being a follower of our program, Sports Health and Wellness on NTA 24. When will an athlete retire from an injury? If the injuries are well managed, like we've discussed in those previous episodes about acute sports injury prevention, and then managing chronic sports injury, most likely depending on several factors, his age, as well as his head status, and also his competitive abilities. So there are a lot of factors that goes into his biomechanics, okay, to look at the structure of his bone, the muscles and his movement, and all of that can determine if the type of injury can be a threat to his life. Then the athletes may be advised to quit sports or active sports, competitive sports. All right.
Another question and final one before we go. It's coming from Chibike Nandi from Abuja. Chibike says, I used to play for an amateur football club in my area. At some point, because I wanted to be selected for matches, I was hiding my injury until it became difficult to heal. Was I wrong or right?
Of course, Chibike knew he was wrong. Just like the earlier guest talked about cheating in competitive sports. Chibike was trying to cheat himself by hiding his injury, playing with his injury, which what is happening most times in most of our clubs, our sports, and even national camps. Because people want to make it, some are breadwinners, is their source of livelihood, and then the demands and pressure of society, the marketing forces that also push people to cheat in sports. And so it's always your health first, and that is the focus of the International Olympic Committee. Athletes' welfare, athlete health is a priority. So if you are injured, it's better that you present yourself, otherwise it will lead to a chronic injury because it's not properly healed, and you didn't allow healing process, you were hiding, and so the utmost aim of participation in the competitive sport is defeated because you were lying and hiding your injury. So you have what we call secondary syndrome. You re-injure that injury again, and then it becomes chronic and it doesn't get healed in good time. So that's an end to your career.
Thank you very much, Dr. Olajide, for answering some of the concerned questions on our show today. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Tewase, for hosting us every Wednesday.
Yes. If you want to be part of this conversation, send us an email or text messages to the phone number and email will be displayed on the screen for you. Yes, some of these questions were taken from as feedback from our members, from our viewers, and we actually appreciate you for being part of the show. Keep the questions coming, keep the emails coming, and if you also want to partner with us or sponsor the program, you can reach us through the same numbers and the email. Whatever you do, don't do drugs. Your health is of utmost importance. Don't hide injuries. Don't go against the doping rules. On behalf of my producer and everyone that have made